Speaker's Corner aboard the Villa Vie Odyssey, hosted by Kit Cassingham.
So, welcome to Spooker's Corner. Watch for black cats and bats tonight, because they could get in your hair. Oh, Neil, be very careful. Your hair can trap them. He's missing the joke. Okay, never mind. He doesn't have any hair. Neil? All right, I'll go back to... So, Melitta Thorn is an evidential medium and trance healer. And she has other modalities in her repertoire. Tonight, Melitta will talk about ghosts and spirits. So hold on to your brooms and get ready for an interesting ride. Now, where is that woman? Ah, here she is.
Now, thanks, Kit, for the introduction. She's an amazing lady. She has a lot of charm, and her talks are absolutely spellbinding. And yeah, I do like her talks. But since my hat is not fitting right tonight, I would love for you to be an honorable witch tonight, if you don't mind wearing this for me, please, because it's just not quite right for me. But you look wonderful. And I'm just so excited to be back now. It's been almost, 4 months now since my last talk. This will be my third one this year, and I'm just really thrilled to be back here. And you know, I almost didn't make it because, believe it or not, there are so many witches out there. The traffic is unbelievable. And thanks to this broom that somebody gifted me, Diane, is she here? Thank you so much for it. It's going so fast. It's better than the Nimbus 2000 that Harry Potter has. I think he might be a little bit jealous if he hears about that one, but I'm going to park it because I'm not going to fly anywhere anytime soon right now. But tonight I want to talk about ghosts and spirits because that's what I really like to do. And let's see. We are going to talk about why we actually celebrate. Before I get into that, I would like to talk why we actually celebrate Halloween. And it's because the Celtics, the Irish, brought it over with them. And it's really to celebrate the ancestors, all the people that have gone before you. And the Christians call it All Saints, Hollis, and the Mexican call it the Day of the Dead, and it's actually a very happy occasion. So it's really just to celebrate your ancestors. And so it's a happy occasion, but as goes with everything else, things have been commercialized over the years, everything. So it's just par for the course there. But I do want to talk about the difference between the ghosts and spirits, because people use them interchangeably, but there is a huge difference, as you're going to find out tonight. Okay. So I talked about why we celebrate that, and I still have fond memories going out there with my son, dressing up, and I still like to dress up, and you probably all will tomorrow as well. It's going to be great entertainment. So as a medium, I'm basically a messenger between two worlds. And what separates those two worlds is a veil, what we call a veil. And during Halloween, the veil becomes very, very thin. Actually, so thin that some of you are probably able to see ghosts or spirits. Is there anybody out there? Just raise your hands. You don't have to tell me about your experiences or anything. Just let me know. Yes, that's great. Thank you for that. Anybody else? Okay. Well, I'm just happy to see some hands because I'm not the only crazy one out there that sees ghosts and spirits. So that's wonderful. Welcome to the club. So what is really a spirit? First and foremost, I want to tell everybody that all of us are spiritual beings. all of us. But because we are living on this dense planet, we have to have a vehicle that's called a body. Okay. Now, this time around, I have chosen a European model that's now a little bit vintage. Okay, I admit, but it's still functional. And when it was newer, it felt like a Ferrari. I could do amazing things. It was phenomenal. But now it feels more like a family sedan. The parts are still working because I do take very good care of it. It's very important of what kind of fuel you take in. Higher octane is better than low octane. It does need a little bit of extra care, so it's very important to me what kind of fuel I take in, as it should for you all as well. And so sometimes I do splurge because it's very hard on this ship to pass up the chocolate, for instance, that I love so much. But the food is so good, so I splurge once in a while, and I do sometimes feel, I messed up one day, but it's okay. It's okay. It's like find the happy medium, find a good balance. And so the challenge is just to find the happy medium there. So regular maintenance is very important. Okay, some vehicles now do end up in a body shop for minor or major repairs. But eventually, all of us are going to end up in the junkyard. That's just the way it goes. These bodies are not meant to last forever, okay? It's just a temporary thing because we just have to function here. So what happens after that? I have good news. There is no death because it's really an illusion. When you open the door here and you walk right through, you're on the other side. Does anybody have any issues with that or doesn't believe me? Because I know I have not made up some of the stuff that I've been seeing and hearing, but anyway. So you just, as a medium, I have to point out I connect with the loved ones that have crossed over. And I give messages to the ones that are left behind. And they just want to make sure that you know that they are okay, they are alive and well, all of them. And that's a very comforting feeling for people here. But they do their best to make connections with you guys, okay? So they're sending signs, they're doing, let's see, they send rainbows or birds or feathers or so many other things, but sometimes we just don't pay attention to that. But they do their best to make to just get your attention. So we just need to have a little bit more of an open mind for it. And since I do get names, it's very helpful when I do make the connection that there is no doubt, that's why I'm an evidential medium, there's no doubt in the person's mind here that that is Uncle John or this is Aunt so-and-so. And I give them the evidence for that. And I would hate to think I was making up all these stories, but I tell you what, some of these things, the stories I'm getting is better than fiction or stranger than fiction. It's unbelievable. So loved ones, they do want to get the proof, and that's good. And they also know what's going on in your lives. They can see you, they can hear you. So actually, you guys don't need a medium. You don't need me to make contact with them. You can do that yourselves. And just talk to them. Ask for evidence. And I'll give you an example. For instance, let's say yesterday you felt like Uncle John was there. You can say, well, Uncle John, if that was you, give me a sign of a red balloon, so you have to be very specific, within 3 days, and just let it go. So if you see a red balloon, don't go looking for it, If you see it, then you know, it was Uncle John. And they love to communicate like this. They love to give you signs and just reach out. And they love to play those things. I call them games, but they take it very seriously. They just want to get in touch with you. They show up on special occasions when it's their birthdays, anniversaries, holidays. They show up, and sometimes I say, if you have a Thanksgiving dinner, just set an extra place setting and say, this was for so-and-so, because we do miss them. They like to be acknowledged, just don't forget that. They are still very much here, they are alive, and they want to still feel like they're part of the family or friends. So it is rare to see spirits with your own two eyes. I call that objectively. I see with my inner eye, which is the third eye. So yes, all of us have three eyes. You just have to learn how to open that third eye. And I can tell you some things that you could do to help that along. One of them is meditation, yoga, visualization, aromatherapy. Now sandalwood is very good. Frankincense is what I heard, also helps. But then I was told by one of my guides, amethyst. It's a beautiful stone, a crystal. Actually, it's not a stone, it's a crystal. I bought that in one of the previous ports. So I got that, so you can put that up here and or hold it in your hands while you're doing meditations. So it's a very powerful crystal. And I think you're aware, if you're aware of chakras, the third eye would represent the blue color or a little bit more purple. You can also engage in creative activities. So that means less screen time on your computer. Also, if you do the chanting, if you're familiar with Om, when you're doing the chanting thing, it's not just the vibration here in your throat chakra, but it also vibrates your third eye. If you want to try that Om, you can really feel it deep in here and also up there. Okay. Oh, I'm a little bit thirsty. I've been drinking that. That brings up another thing. Why do you think mediums like to drink?
Spirits.
Spirits. Okay. Well, you kind of got that. So they can't be with spirits, okay? And I drink a heck of a lot, and there are a lot of spirits in here, let me tell you. And actually, it's very clear. And those spirits are called H2O. And normally it's odorless, colorless, and tasteless, what I hear, but sometimes they do have a little bit of a taste. But I do need that a lot. So are there any questions about spirits? So now we know, all of us are spiritual beings, right? We just need this body to function on this planet. I better stay in my star here. Yeah, any questions? I'm here for you. Sometimes I gotta lean. I think the ship is moving again. I gotta lean. No questions. I know some of you are shy, but please.
I'm an aromatherapist.
You're what?
Aromatherapist.
Aromatherapist. Okay,
When
great.
I was fully practicing,
Uh-huh.
I would actually have,
Can people hear you?
I don't know, can
Can everybody hear her? Because I have a hard time.
Straight out.
Straight up. Okay, is that better?
Okay.
Right, I was a professional aromatherapist, and when I was into dealing with my clients,
Mm-hmm.
I could actually feel things without touching them. and it would scare the bejesus out of me.
It scared you?
Yeah, until I got used to it, and then
Uh-huh.
I realised, because I actually went to a spiritualist
Mhm.
course to try and get my head round what is happening. As I was learning, this is when I was starting off and things, and he will confirm, I would not be able to sleep in the bed unless it was east-west. Most people, it's north-south, but I have
That's
to have it
correct.
east-west.
Yes.
Is this the spirits trying to maneuver me and guide me? Or I did have this problem for quite a while, and I said it was a problem because I was so tuned. But over the years, I've sort of gone away from it because I'm not tuned in as much as I should, or I used to. And so one of the things is this ability to sleep anyway. It's fine. As that has become that it doesn't matter which way I am now, my sensitivity
Mm-hmm.
has also gone.
That's interesting. But something tells me
Yeah.
that the way you sleep, it doesn't really matter. However, it enhances, it can enhance. Because I was always told, have your head facing north,
Yeah.
your feet towards the south, okay, which sometimes it's hard on the ship here, okay, and means moving around quite a bit. But I don't think you have lost it. It's just that you perhaps have not spent enough time, or you just, because you had that scare factor, what I heard you say, it's holding you back. So you're holding yourself back.
So even though I am now retired and I'm over 70 now,
Age doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. I can
It
still
doesn't-
get it back then.
Actually, it gets better as we age. That's what I have found out. You know, I have had an awareness as I was growing up, but it has become extremely strong as I got closer to retirement, because I guess on the other side, I needed to do something better than what I was doing before. So it became so strong I couldn't ignore it. But you always have a choice. You have free will. You can say, I don't want this, you don't want this ability, and then they will shut it down. It's
That
up to
makes
you.
sense, yeah.
It's up to you. But it's a great ability, you know.
So I
Yeah.
thought once I've shut it down, that's it, it's gone. So it could come back.
Absolutely. But you just have to open yourself again and say, talk to your guides, talk to your angel and say, hey, I'm ready, I'm sorry. You know, I mean, talk to them, they can hear you,
You
okay?
just messed up.
Okay. So
Yeah.
just, you know, we can change our minds, but I decided I was going to go for it. And I'm glad I did, because I've been helping a lot of people, and it's very humbling. I take this also very seriously. To me, it's not a game like it was when I was a teenager, you know, playing with tarot cards and stuff like that. But now it's absolutely amazing to see the results then of just a little messenger. That's all I am. I'm just a messenger between those two worlds. And but it's beautiful.
You do have a spirit.
She's very much so.
Okay.
But I'm
Did
just
that?
holding her back at the time.
So yeah. So did that help you
Yes,
answer your
yes.
question? Okay.
So I don't have to do
And you
that.
can always, you know, stop in the hallway or something and talk to me anytime. Yes.
Just curious, having never worked with a medium,
Uh-huh.
and that's the correct phrase,
That's correct. Yes.
how would a session start? I have a relative who's shared with me multiple stories about a family member,
Mm-hmm.
but I have never even thought about it, but she is so convinced that she made a connection through a medium.
Right.
So talk about that if you would.
Okay. Sure. Everybody works a little bit different. Okay. But I usually, somebody makes an appointment, we get together, I just tune in and say, I invite the spirit world to just, whoever serves the greatest need to come forward. That's how I always start, and I also connect my heart with your heart and the heart of the spirit world. I create this triangle of love because I work with the highest vibration there is, and that is love. That's why nobody else can find me out there, okay? And you cannot have any fear with this, because if you do, then don't do this kind of work. So, and then when I feel like, I just take 3 deep breaths and I go into the alpha state, and I always invite my client, or my sitter is what they're called, to do the same. And it's also very important how we feel. I don't do readings when I don't feel well, or I'm too busy, or my mind is just too preoccupied. I have to be fully aware, and then I just feel my way in, and I said, okay, the door is open, they know. I have guides there waiting also. They line them up for me, so they don't talk all at the same time. I mean, they get excited because it could be their only opportunity to talk to their loved ones because of the medium that's providing that service. And it's just amazing. Then I can feel them. I get names. A lot of times I get names, which is very helpful. And it makes no sense to me what they're showing me, because sometimes they give me symbols. It's not like having a conversation. It's not that simple. So I sometimes just see numbers, what does that mean to you? It could be a birth month or whatever the case may be. The names are very helpful, like I said. I get sceneries, where they show me a memory. And so I say everything that I see, that I know, that I feel, that I can hear, because I use all my six senses, to convey the messages to the client here. So they know for sure who that is. Sometimes I say, well, somebody just showed up, and it could be a message for somebody that's still living here. That's also amazing. And sometimes, like on the ship, it has happened before, where when I sit down somewhere, all of a sudden I get dizzy, and that's my sign that I know somebody just is trying to come through, because they didn't have an appointment with me, to get my attention, to tell somebody who's sitting close to me to pass on a message. Has happened on a few occasions here. I think some of you guys are here that has happened to. But I always said, and I talked to my spirit guides, I said, only do that if it's absolutely important, okay? Because I have a life to live here also. If there's not an appointment, but I call them walk-ins. Okay, they are walk-ins. But did that help you? So kind of just give you a feel what it is, and usually it's an hour and a half. I never watch the time, because if there are a whole bunch of people here and they have something to say, I'm not going to say, I'm sorry, my time is up. I let them talk. And that's pretty much it. Some people recorded. The last one I had, she recorded the session so she could go over later on to see what we talked about. But that's pretty much it. Sorry, I was rambling probably a little bit. Yes, one more. Yeah.
Hi. I'm just curious to know why we come from the spirit world to this planet, and if it's to learn lessons.
Absolutely.
Why do so many of us have to learn such hard and painful lessons?
Because this is a tough planet, and it's a classroom. Just look at it as a classroom, and we progress as if we come more often. We learn those lessons, because when you're on the other side, everything is so perfect and wonderful. So you're really not learning much. You can read about, let's say, compassion, and you can read about how to if somebody is suffering, but you have no idea what that feels like. The only way to feel that is when you come here to experience. It's just an experience. So just look at it, this is a temporary assignment, be happy, then go home, and hopefully you all guys are not afraid of transitioning, because it's going to be a beautiful experience. And we all are doing this, and sometimes we choose to come back to learn another lesson, or if we missed it, we have been here several times, many times, maybe hundreds of times, maybe a lot more. We just sometimes do do-overs. And we decide what kind of roles we are playing, with whom, because we are in our own clusters, is how I understand it. Okay, I'm just talking about my own experience, what I've read, what I've learned. And it's quite fascinating, because sometimes people will say, hey, I can't believe I chose these people as my parents. Really? Come on. Yes, we did. I'm totally convinced of that. Because otherwise, if you had everything perfect, what are you going to learn? You can't learn anything from that. You always learn from so-called mistakes, but there's no such a thing as a mistake. Okay. Did that help you?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Anybody else? Yes. Nick. Oh, don't go to sleep.
This is John. I took Mick's part. I
Hi, John.
have some very interesting relatives.
Yes.
My great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather is John Alden, so I guess that makes Priscilla Alden my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother.
Ooh.
They were two youths that came over on the Mayflower, the first to produce an offspring in the New World.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they obviously never knew me, and I obviously never knew them except by history books and stuff.
Okay.
And I'm also going to tell you very honestly, you know, I'm a scientist. I'm not a believer.
Absolutely. Good.
But I'd also say that you know, I'd love to be able to sit down and talk to somebody that, you know, has that position in history. Based on your experience and the like, if you look at all those characteristics,
Mm-hmm.
is it a no-go? It's not within the realm of from your perspective, trying because it just doesn't fit the model, or and again I'm asking your opinion, is it possible for two parties that never knew each other to develop a connection?
Absolutely. I can actually contact Albert Einstein if I wanted to, but what am I going to talk to him about? Okay, so it always has to be for the highest good in my mind. We have done this in practice, and when I went through certain schools with some really well-known mediums, but they know you. The ancestors, they know you because you've been with them before you came here. And you probably were there many times, where you probably had many shared experiences before. And sometimes when I have a client and I say, do you need to hear from somebody that hasn't shown up yet? Just give me the first name. It's like making a phone call. I know that sounds strange. And then I say, okay, John, come on in. Are you here? Are you willing to come in? And most of the time that happens. So if you know, you know, you have the names obviously if you did some research there, and we can make a connection anytime. I know it sounds crazy, spooky. It's Halloween. Yes, indeed, it works. Because everything is energy. Okay, that's Albert Einstein said that too. Everything is energy. All of us here, furniture, everything. That's why we can make the connection, and it's really simple. It's actually very simple. It's not that complicated. Yes. Nick.
Thanks, Melissa.
It's actually Melitta, but
Yeah,
I've been
sorry.
called worse.
I was speaking with a miss.
It's okay.
I was speaking with a miss.
It's
Um,
okay.
Could you? Yeah. Thanks very much for the presentation so far.
Yeah. you're
Could you say what exactly is a spirit? Thank you.
A spirit is your soul. It's your essence, your emotions. I forgot to say that. Thank you. Nick, you're awesome. I really appreciate
I've
that.
been called worse.
Yes.
Thanks for the
Yes.
answer.
So really, yes. It's your soul, it's your spirit, it's your character, it's your emotions. That's what a spirit is. Okay. That is who you are, and that's the connection I'm making. I'm just making a soul-to-soul connection with the other side. Yes, that was a very important part that you just brought up, and I really appreciate that, Nick. Yes, somehow that kind of just went over my head. Yes.
Something interesting about what you just.
You want to wait for a microphone so that everybody can hear you? Okay.
One second.
I gotta have another spiritual drink here. Okay.
You had started your
presentation with saying spirits and ghosts are different. You didn't mention yet what the difference is and what a ghost is.
I'm getting to the ghost part. Okay, I'm only giving you so much information one at a time. Okay, so right now we got into spirit, so you guys understand what a spirit is. Okay, we are all spiritual beings, and a spirit is really your soul. And it's your character and your emotions. So when you cross over, you're going to be who you are right here. So that's how people also recognize you. Once you're on the other side and people want to make a contact, somebody in your family or a friend, they will recognize you because of who you are. That's your essence. That's your soul. So the soul always lives on. I am totally 1,000% convinced that this is what happens, because it just, energy has to go somewhere, right? Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So where does the energy go? It just transforms into a different being. I see them as orbs. But once they come in, I see them as who they were, however they present themselves, so that the other person can recognize them. And usually closer to the passings, because when they were little, the other person may not know what that person looked like when they were younger. But it's very interesting how that works. Yes, anybody else? Yes?
Something that I read about when people die and the spirit, I believe we do have a spirit within each one of us.
Yes.
When people have passed away in hospitals and are measured, they actually had a study that says there's a tiny fraction of weight that is lost with every person's last breath.
Yes.
And so if you think of that spirit as maybe that last breath, empirically, everyone has lost a tiny fraction of weight at their last breath.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And yes, read up if you're curious about this. NDEs, people that have gone through that experience, they will tell you what they have seen, what they have felt during that absence, during that moment when they were not in their bodies, because all of them see themselves come out. Okay. And also you do astral travel. That just came in. Every one of us, when we are sleeping, we do astral travel, but we are connected with the silver cord, and that brings us back into the body before we wake up. Once that cord is severed, we become the spirit. Okay, floating around. We are leaving the body behind because we don't need it anymore. And it's good to know. Eventually this is going to go away. And we'll see what we're going to pick next time. Okay, anybody else about spirits? Okay, we are ready to move on to ghosts?
Yep.
Oh, I see the anticipation. Okay, so what is a ghost? A ghost is simply someone that has not crossed over yet. Okay, they're either confused, or they choose to stay here, or they just have not realized that they have left their bodies. It's quite interesting that that happens. But it's their choice also, or they have unfinished business. Now, the ghosts can be visible like wispy forms or lifelike forms. Some of you can probably see ghosts, or you can also feel them. Maybe there's a coldness. You probably read about this. It could be very cold in this whole room. I'm getting to that too. And let's see. You may feel cold. Now, have you guys seen the movie Casper the Ghost?
Mm-hmm.
Cute. He's so cute. But he was looking for friends to play with, right? So he was this little boy. But there were other ones, the uncles. They were not so nice, okay? And that is all true, because they are who they are, or who they were when they were still in their bodies. So that is all true. And if you ever feel a ghost sharing your home with you, I've heard many stories where somebody even kicked them down the stairs. You need to have a serious conversation with that ghost, okay? But in a nice manner. Do it with love. Do it with some conviction. Convince them, hey, I'm living now in what used to be your home. And we need to just work out something so that we can live in peace together. If it's not possible, then you have to try to show them the light, or say, then it's time for you to go home and cross over and say, go to the light, please. But sometimes it works out, living with a ghost. It's not all that scary. So, and if some of you are into ghost hunting, which I'm not, there are some tools out there, the electromagnetic field detector, EMF for short. It will actually detect the cold spots and where a possible ghost might be. Now, there are mediums that do help ghosts cross over. I am not trained in that, that's not my forte, but I can just basically guide them to the light if it's absolutely necessary. But do know that nobody is ever left behind. Nobody. There's usually an angel that comes and gets them, or loved ones that show up and say, okay, it's time to go home now because you've been here long enough. And there's no concept of time. Even if you're a ghost or a spirit, there is no time, doesn't exist. It's just here on this planet. So just remember, it's just a temporary assignment when we go home. So I always say, don't be afraid of the dead. Be afraid of the living. Because the livings are the ones that can hurt you emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. It's the living, okay? So I always say, be kinder to each other. We're all in this together. Let's just make the best of this, okay? And help each other. So I also want to say, now this is the important stuff. I have some spooky news for you. Some really interesting news. Did you know that there's a ghost living on this ship? Woo! Oh my gosh, she's here. And I just found out recently, a few months ago, that it is a 30-year-old woman that passed on the 2nd of January 2016. There was a medical emergency in the Southern Caribbean, and a helicopter was even called in, and it was aborted because she died. But she likes to hang out here in the Neptune. Curtains, even that heavy curtain, you can see how heavy that thing is, has fallen down before, and some people have seen her and felt her. Quite a few here on the ship, so I'm doing a little bit of investigation here, which is kind of fascinating. And lights have been going on and off here in just like now, right in here in the Neptune. And the interesting part is that tonight, for the first time I'm speaking here in the Neptune. It used to be in the Coral, twice before. So this is just, it's not a coincidence. I call them synchronicities. So she really hasn't shown herself to me that much, I think because she felt like I was going to help her cross over, but she likes it here, so it's like, okay, you just stay, you do your thing. I'm here if you want to show up or if you want to talk. So she knows the intention now, so it's not a big thing. But let me know, has anybody encountered her? Anybody?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay. All right. So, but over half a dozen people have approached me. They said they have felt a presence. Also in the hobby room where people do their drawings and everything, she likes to hang out in there and give some inspiration. And particularly here, and also in her old cabin. I think that cabin, I'm not going to say the number which one it is, because maybe somebody will come running to me and say, hey, that was hers. But she's friendly. She just likes it here, and she was young. 30 years old. Okay, so that was to me very fascinating when I found out. I did find out about another person that died on the ship. It was an engineer. I think he got trapped between these big doors, that move together. So that's why they always say be very careful when they start closing. But he has left. He is not here as a ghost, but the woman is. And anyway, so Are there any questions about ghosts? Now that we talked about spirits before, you pretty much have a clear idea what spirits are. What about ghosts? Yes?
Is it easier to talk to ghosts?
Would you please wait for the mic?
Yeah, so that everybody can hear you.
Is it just as easy to talk to a ghost as a spirit?
Well, she hasn't talked to me yet, and that would have been my first one. But I guess because, you know, she probably has realized she's kind of stuck, but doesn't want to leave. It's her choice. But yeah, you can still talk to them like a spirit. Absolutely. So you can talk to her. Maybe she'll come to you. But she has shown herself to several people. So I have gotten received good descriptions about her, what she looks like. But I don't want to give them away. Yes?
When you've done things as a medium,
Mhm.
trying to connect people with their family spirit or family
Yeah.
member, have you ever, or how do you discern whether there might be an evil spirit or ghost who is
Can you
trying
hold that
to-
mic closer to your mouth,
is trying to
please?
substitute?
Lance,
Keep it close.
keep it real close, like an ice
Oh,
cream
okay.
cone.
Sorry.
Enjoy it. I hope it's
Because
chocolate.
of what I hear. When you've done work as a medium,
Yes.
and you're trying to connect, say, a family member
Mhm.
that's passed away, how do you discern between, say, an evil spirit that is trying to take over that position and whether it's the actual family member?
You see, I mentioned it a little bit earlier that I work with the highest vibration, which is love. So lower vibrations, I call them lower vibrations, have no chance to get in here. They just can't. Because I'm the light. I'm totally convinced it's just all light, all good that comes in. So no. And I have no reservation about that. It's just not going to come. It's not going to happen. I know you look like you're not quite believing it, but you know, in my mind, fear, I cannot let fear, because fear is the opposite of love. So if you have the faintest kind of fear in there, you're just inviting all kinds of trouble perhaps. So but not in my mind. So it's all love, and love will find me. But nobody is taking over anybody else's thing, no. Anybody else? Yes?
You said that several people have described her.
Yes,
Did
absolutely.
their descriptions match from the people who described her?
There are only 2 people that have so far seen her, and those 2 people had the same description. Absolutely, yes. So now I'm just waiting for more reports. I'm keeping like a diary and say, okay, I found this information, that information. It's kind of very interesting. It's almost like being a little bit of a detective to put the pieces together of who is this woman, because she's very intriguing to me. I mean, she was only 30 years old, but when I walked back there too, I could feel that there was an emergency without finding the evidence ahead of time. So I could sense that there was, it was just unbelievable. I could have been a heart attack or something. It was something very serious. I mean, she just went like that very quickly.
So you have no idea of her name?
The name, I have asked her to come to me and give me a name. And I've also tried to find out, because it used to be the Brahma before, when that happened in 2016. I cannot find any official records. It seems like it's sealed off, okay? But somebody must have written something. Maybe one of you guys can find out. News must have been all over the place, and I cannot find anything. You know, maybe they're just protecting the person's name and families that are left behind of who that woman was. But look it up, 2nd of January 2016, so 10 years are coming up. Maybe we should have a party for her. Yes, another one? Okay.
Melitta, may
Yes.
I just speak to Lance?
Yes, sure.
Lance, this is why it's so important that you have to be in the right mood when you are not evoking, connecting. That's
Yes,
the word, connecting with any spirit. If you're not in the right mood or frame of mind, this is why evil can come in. That's why you might be getting the feeling that this is not right. That's the time you don't do it. That's why you have a guide to guide you through this time, to make sure your mind is switched on in the right way. Am I correct in that?
Yes, and that's actually a very good point, because I do have a story about that. So if you're like meddling around with lower vibrations, or if you're doing something that is really not of the highest good, then yes, you're going to invite lower personalities, lower vibrations, okay? I don't call it evil, it's just good or bad or indifferent, but it's just a lower vibration. And that's why I say, don't do drugs when you're doing readings, don't drink alcohol. Now, I did have one time alcohol. I was on a Danube River cruise, and I was drawn to a table, and I already had a glass, maybe 2 glasses of wine, and they were very happy over there too, but I wanted to say hello, who are you, and so forth. And as soon as I put my hand on the lady that was closest to me, I could feel somebody coming through. I said, oh, there's Mike is here. Do you know somebody by the name of Mike? She said, oh my gosh, that's my boyfriend who just passed away. So I was like, okay, but he was very strong, okay? And I gave the message to her and blah, 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 and she wanted to have a reading. So I said, I probably don't have the time on the ship. It was the boat. That was a boat, the river boat. And so we made up an appointment after the vacation. And when I finally made the connection with him, I said, I have him here, but he doesn't feel the same, because I can recognize them. Once you have made one connection, you recognize them again, because it's a soul-to-soul connection. You're also different in a sense. And I said, he's very shy and he's kind of quiet. She said, that's exactly who he was when he was here. That's how he was. And the only difference that I could make out was because of the alcohol, it made it stronger. And he was very persistent and probably was very excited that I was there, and he wanted to give a message to his girlfriend. Okay? But what I could just think, the only thing was the alcohol. It intensified the experience. Okay? So you've got to be careful. That's why I'm not going to drink something when I'm doing a reading. Okay? I don't recommend that. Or especially not drugs. I mean, when I'm talking drugs, LSD or whatever is out there, I don't know all this stuff. So you got to be using discernment. Yes. Another one. Yes.
I was wondering, do you ever connect with pets and animals, or just
Absolutely,
people?
Yes. They love to come through. Oh my gosh, yes, they do. They're awesome. You know, some people say, well, how can they talk? Some people say they don't even have a soul. Yes, I have news for you. They're just not as advanced, but they send me images. They come through. Yes. Cats, dogs, birds, whatever it may be. Yes. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay.
Another microphone.
He's doing it, don't leave this stuff off.
What, to your mind, is an exorcism?
Oh, that was a bad invention, wasn't it? I mean, I guess the church had to come up with something. They had no other explanation, okay? They probably thought it was some evil spirit coming into the body, and they had to do some ritual to get rid of it. But now I do believe that if somebody has a chemical imbalance, it's just coming in right now, that's how it works with me. If you're not stable, your mind is not stable, you're more open to lower vibrations. So it's very possible for a lower vibration to come in and create some havoc in your system. Okay, I don't call it they can take over to a certain extent. Yes, they can. But then, you know, the churches call it exorcism to get rid of it. But I am not trained in that, what they really had to do, but...
You know who it's connected to?
That's what?
You know who that's connected to?
What's that?
That you're feeling?
No, it's just that I feel it can come in. It's very open, but that's for people that are not mentally stable, is what I'm getting, that it opens a door, so to speak, for others, lower vibrations to come in. And that's what you have to be aware of. But this exorcism thing, you know, they really didn't know what they were doing with it, really. I mean, they just thought they had to drive out some evil spirit, but I guess they're gonna leave when they're gonna feel like leaving. It's the mind. The mind has a lot to do with that. So, did that answer your question? I mean, it's possible. Yeah.
Over here then.
Another one. When Hazel moved into our new house in New Zealand, in Tauranga, yeah, for months she felt that there was something not quite right. You know, just felt something.
Okay.
So eventually, she called in Maori to help to get the
We blessed the house.
Yes. Yeah.
We had the house blessed with a Maori person, because where I live in Tauranga, there's the Battle of Gate Pa, and a lot of people had gone down the gully when they left from the Pa, and they left. So obviously there was a lot of Maori feeling around that area, and we got a Maori man to come and to go around the house, and he said there's two spirits. He said there's a bad spirit. He said, and it's up in that bedroom. He told which one.
He probably meant a ghost.
He just said a bad spirit.
Yeah.
He says, and the others are just trapped here. He said, and they're under the house.
That's ghosts.
Yeah. And when he was actually doing what he was doing, in the prayers and everything, all in Maori, I didn't know anything what's happening. But when we went downstairs, opened the gates to underneath the house,
yes.
So it's the crawl way to
Right.
underneath the house, we actually felt a whoosh of air go past.
Yeah.
We've never had any problems in that house since.
Okay.
And my next door neighbour, who was down lower than us, I told him, because he had lived there in that house previously.
Okay.
And I told him, you know, about this feeling and what had happened. And he said, was it the top right hand? And I said, yes. And he says, yeah. He said, that's where my dad used to beat the crap out of me.
Yeah, it's energies that are still lingering, and also ghosts that are still there. And you can use sage, for instance, as a clearing spray that I sometimes use when I travel. It's a liquid thing, but it's the intent. You know, I'm just clearing this area, and you can do that. Anybody can do that. Great questions. I need to start wrapping it up very slowly here. So if you have any more stories, you can just get in touch with me. And I just wanted to say that I did have a workshop here just recently. If any of you want to learn how to make a connection, some of you have already done that. I can always set up another one in the future if anybody is interested. And or just contact me via WhatsApp, or there's a spiritual interest group out there, and you can just send me a message. Okay. Now, I just want to finish it on a light note too. I'm not a great joke teller, but I gotta say there's a ghost that went to a bar. Okay. You know that one? A ghost went to a bar, okay. And he ordered a drink. And the bartender said, we don't serve spirits. And the ghost said, "That's okay. I'll have a beer instead." Thank you. But anyway, at one time I had a date a long time ago. And a long time ago, yes, I had a date. Can you believe this? And anyway, I waited around about a century, and when I finally figured out, that guy ghosted me. He just ghosted me. I should have seen it coming, right? But I probably had these pink glasses on, and I just was oblivious. But I think I know better now. But anyway, I just want to let you go. Don't forget, you're all wonderful, powerful spiritual beings, just having an earthly experience. Do the best you can, enjoy life, and then go home. And happy Halloween to everybody, and thank you for coming. You guys are awesome, okay? All right, good night.